If you'd have asked me 5 years ago, hey, do you think people are going to have laser welders in their shop? I would have said two things. First of all, what is a laser welder? And second of all, I don't believe it. And yet here we are. This here is the XLaserLabs X1 Pro 700 watt air-cooled laser welder. Now, full disclosure, XLaserLabs sent this to me and asked if I'd like to make some content around it, and I said yes. I also want to say right off the bat, this thing has the potential to be incredibly dangerous. When used properly, it's fine. But this thing has to be respected. Treat it like a loaded gun. Don't believe me? Check out what it does to a porcelain plate. That was just on the cleaning setting. So we're going to take a look at this laser welder. I'll show you some of its features and just kind of explain what these things are about. First, let's jump over to the machine itself. So this here's the laser module itself, and this is the wire feed unit. These come in different configurations. You can actually get dual wire feed, but this is the main power generation of the system. Turn it on. This system does require gas, so I have 100% pure argon here. And that's used for two different things. First is to help keep the machine cool, and second as a shielding gas when you're doing welding operations, just like TIG, MIG, stuff like that. So with the machine on, you can see we have three main settings: cleaning, cutting, and welding. Currently, I was set up on the cleaning tip. When you're cleaning, you don't have any nozzles in the gun. It looks just like this. You do need to attach the ground clamp to the gun, or else it won't clean. There's a safety interlock that needs to be turned on. So whatever process you're going to do, just pick what it is, confirm, and here we come to all available settings. Now we have a warning, it says atmospheric pressure. That's because it's sensing that my gas is turned off. So we'll turn that on, and that warning disappears. So this is actually a really nice touch screen. I still have the plastic on it. I'm weird like that. But right here we can adjust the power. You can either use the arrows to scroll, or you can punch in a number. So we could go up to 100. Confirm. Frequency. So this is the frequency of the laser itself. You can adjust that. And this is the swing frequency, how quickly it goes back and forth. So if you wanted to go back and forth slowly, you could do 20. And this goes up to 200. And then the width of your cleaning beam up to 8 millimeters. And you can go down to 0.2. You can actually see the swing. I'm not sure if it's showing up very well, but that's basically how fast the laser is going to go back and forth. And once you've got your machine all set up, there's one additional step. You do have to press this power right here, and it brings up a warning label, tells you to make sure you have all your safety equipment on. You confirm, and then press power again. Put on your safety glasses, and it's literally a matter of just pulling the trigger. So here's an example of some rusty pliers. What are these? Are these horseshoe pliers or something like that? I don't know exactly, but this thing does a fantastic job of removing the rust very quickly. And the cool thing about it too is that you can adjust the power and intensity, so you can actually really eat into the metal a lot, or you can just barely lightly skim the surface. This cleaning feature is really cool. Another thing that's very important to keep in mind is that on certain surfaces, there's a potential that that laser light could hit the surface you're cleaning and some of it bounce back off. So you do not want to have anything valuable in front of you, no people, and just be super cognizant. Be careful when you're using this thing. Like I said, treat this like a loaded gun. You don't want any part of your body in front of it. And it takes a little getting used to when you think of like regular MIG welding. With MIG welding, I mean, I could point that gun wherever I want. I could even weld towards myself. I might get some extra splatter. But here we have a risk of laser light coming back at you, and this stuff is powerful. Okay, turn that off. Now this won't work. Safety interlock. Next thing to talk about is welding, and this is what I'm the most excited about. Now you can weld two different ways. You can just do arc welding with this. So basically if you've got super thin material, you're just like melting them together, or you can add a filler wire. And for that, we need to do a little configuring of the gun. So just like when you're MIG welding, stick welding, TIG welding, you can put your ground on the workpiece you're welding, or you can just ground your workbench. And then what we'll need to do is take this wire feed, which comes from our machine, and we need to attach it to the gun. We also need to install the correct nozzle. There are different nozzles, which we'll get into. But for this one, this is the standard wire feed nozzle. This will make it act more like a MIG welder than anything else. But again, a MIG welder that you do not want to be in front of. So we'll take this piece. We've got these little arms that are adjustable. When you first get your machine, you'll just have to play with how you like it set up. And we want to bring the wire feeder right up to there. And there's actually a little groove in the nozzle, which will help guide the wire. Once you're there, just tighten it down. Now it's ready for welding. Interesting thing about this though is in order for the welding to work, you do need to make contact with the metal with your wire, and then it completes the electrical circuit. So it's not like I could just start welding up here. That wire does need to be in contact with your material, just like in MIG welding. Let's look at the welding settings. So when you want to go back to the main menu, just press mode selection, and we're going to do welding, confirm. So what we're going to do is we'll pick our material. Now I don't fully understand exactly what each of these is. I do know that's carbon steel, and here you pick the thickness. So let's do 5 mil, and it will adjust things accordingly. One thing you need to do is press the wire feed option to turn that on. And then we have our power setting, and it's set it to 100% for us because we're welding 5 mil. Same thing, you can just adjust this way, or you can go in here and put in what you would like. It does take a little bit of experimenting. This next setting is the swing frequency, which is how many times per second the little laser goes back and forth. So you can set this to 200, I believe, as the max. And basically, I prefer it at 20, and you can play with whatever you're working with in between. And this one here is the swing width, so how wide the travel of the laser is. You can go up to 5 millimeters, and then you can go down. So if you're welding really, really thin material and you don't need to fill a huge gap, you can adjust this accordingly. And then the last setting we have is our wire feed. And you bring up this menu, wire feed, you can do playback length, you can do pulse if you want, but here we can adjust it, 5 millimeters per second, 10 millimeters per second. Again, it takes a little bit of experimentation to figure out what works for different material thicknesses, but it actually is really quick to figure out. And again, we'll hit the power button, and since it's brought up the safety thing, I don't have to confirm that again in this session. If I turn it off and then on, I would have to press this, press confirm, safety gear, all that stuff, and then it would allow me to press again. And then gas. The gas is going to come automatically, but if for some reason I want to have continuous gas, I can press this. And we have continuous gas. Now here we can adjust gas before the laser, gas after the laser, all kinds of different stuff. And you can also do pulse welding, which I haven't experimented with. I'm still just trying to figure this thing out, but it is pretty cool. Right here you go continuous or pulse. And we've got pulse that brings up some different options, the duration of the laser, the duration that the laser's off, all kinds of stuff. But like I say, I'm just messing around with continuous right now. And these are some of the beads that you can get with this laser. And I was actually surprised that this thing lays down some pretty nice looking beads. Now one thing to keep in mind, and I'm not entirely sure about this, but this is my understanding. You do need a specific laser welding lens in your welding helmet. I believe a traditional welding helmet doesn't protect against the wavelength of light that the laser emits, and XLaserLabs does send you one. Surprisingly high quality, and it is very comfortable. I wish there were more welding helmets like this. But the nice thing is, it's not a dark lens like a traditional welding lens, so you can easily enough set up your weld, and then start welding, and this will protect you from the laser light. Another thing, sometimes when you're MIG welding, you kind of come in like this and bzzz. With this one, you're typically always drawing straight back. And it takes a little bit of getting used to, because I generally, when I'm welding, I like to steady myself and move horizontally. That's just my preferred method. But with this, you're going to want to move in this fashion. Also, takes a little bit of adjustment getting into corners, just like MIG welding. But it's really quite a quick learning curve, and it is just incredible how quickly I was laying down nice looking welds. Now, I don't know about you, but that is not a bad looking weld. We're going to stress test this, and this was only after about an hour of playing with it. I was also playing around with some really thin material, You can see right here where I started, it was a little bit flat, a little bit too much on that side, not evenly between the pieces. But as I was going, I was able to figure out where I needed to be and put a nice little weld in there. And the third and final thing this thing does, and I haven't been messing with this too much because frankly, it kind of scares me, and that's the cutting. They do have a special cutting tip that you can use. And the thing that I found is if you hold it too long, the laser cuts through the material, it'll actually start burning the floor underneath. Now, if I have a whole bunch of cutting to do, I'm probably gonna use a plasma torch because it's a lot quicker, or a chop saw or a grinding disc. This I could see being used for some very intricate, precise cuts, but I would do those, I think, outside where I'm not worried about burning my concrete floor. So with that brief overview, where does something like this land in a shop? I think this is ideal for light duty fabrication. It's very enjoyable to use. Like, it's clean, there's not as much gas as with MIG welding, and it doesn't take nearly as much skill as with TIG welding. I could see this being very strong in a body shop. In fact, I've seen a lot of guys online do body work with this. And I'm not a professional welder, but I was getting pretty good with a MIG, and then I bought a TIG. And there's a learning curve to that. But once you figure it out and you kind of pay attention to what you're doing, figure out what's happening, you can actually start to get pretty decent results. And that is the same with this. There's a bit of a learning curve to it. It's not like you can just hand this to anybody and they're gonna get really great results. If you dial things in for them, then yes, they probably could. Now, one other thing that's interesting when you're welding with this is that once you start welding, it has a tendency to push you along. Just the feed of the wire actually moves you along. And I find if you can dial that in and keep a fairly light grip on your gun, you can actually just set that and you don't have to think about how fast you're moving. This thing will just automatically move you along and create really nice, consistent welds. Well, I don't know about you, but I'm kind of curious how strong that weld was. So why don't we go ahead, we'll clamp that piece in this vise and then we'll hit it with a hammer, because that just sounds fun. Now, I know this isn't necessarily scientific testing, but it should be interesting. Get over here. Well, there's absolutely no sign of the weld giving up. You know what? That's a decent weld in my books. Now, in an effort to be a little bit scientific, I took this piece that I'd welded together and cut it, sanded it, and acid etched it so we could see where the weld penetration is. You can very clearly see right there, almost goes all the way to the bottom. So for this material, that looks like a pretty good weld to me. You can also see the heat affected zone there and there. Now, I haven't actually used this welder for any projects yet. I've just been welding on test coupons. But what do you think should be the first project I do with this? I do believe it's going to be making a cart for it because I don't love it sitting on a workbench. But I'm also thinking about like a Santa Maria grill or something like that. I haven't tested out with aluminum or stainless steel, which I'm going to, and I'll make another video about that. But what would you like to see me try welding with this? This thing is actually really cool. And again, I cannot stress enough, you have to be careful with this thing. A couple other things maintenance related. Right in here, these two screws, there is a lens, and that's a protective lens. And right here, you actually have to remove these screws. That is the laser focusing lens. So I'm not sure if this is fiber optic or what, if the laser comes up through here and then it's focused there. You can also play with the length that this sticks in and out, and there's a bunch of things to play with and adjust, but generally speaking, it is fairly intuitive and it is a lot of fun. Like, this to me is kind of like, what? Laser welder? That's wild. The one thing to note is that they give you a 6mm line, and the little adapter where you plug it into the back, it's just one of those push connectors. That is for 6mm tubing, and that's not very common here, even in Canada. So I ended up just buying a regulator, using a piece of fuel line, and clamped it on each side. And happy to report, I have no leaks. I actually leak tested it with soapy water. So on the actual gun itself, they do give you different nozzles, different tips for different diameter of wire. I'm running 30 thou right now. This just loads standard rolls of wire, and it's pretty straightforward. You've got some connectors that go from the wire feeder to the machine. Bunch of stuff in there. There's also this emergency stop, which probably shouldn't be hiding over here by the welder. The idea is that you keep this where you're working, and if something goes awry, we also have an emergency stop on the front. If you by chance share a shop with somebody, you don't want them using your laser welder, take the keys out. It's gonna prevent them from easily just turning on your machine and welding. Also, if you have kids around, just for safety's sake, I like the idea of keys for lockout. Here are the different nozzles for the different diameters of wire, and then I'll show you the little box that you get with the little tips. So here are some different tips. This one here is if you're welding on a corner. Essentially, this would just kind of ride along like that, bzz, weld that along. Or if you're welding like that. And this one, you can see with this little notch right there, it's designed for the wire feed. They also have tips that are just for the arc welding. So this one right here does not have a wire feed. Bigger nozzles for, I don't know, bigger welding thing. And then this is my cutting nozzle. Now you notice I blew out the end of it. And that is because you do need to double check the focus of your laser. And I failed to adjust the focus of the laser. And I noticed this thing getting red hot. And so it kind of melted a little bit. But I refocused it and this thing actually still works fine. But I just don't, the cutting with it scares me. Like I can take the cutter and I can point it at that wall and it'll start burning that tin. These things are no joke. So there's a real quick first look at the XLaserLabs X1 Pro laser welder. This thing is really cool. Like I say, I'm gonna do a project and I think that'll be a much better test of what this is truly capable of and if this is really something that could replace a TIG welder, maybe a MIG welder for light duty applications. This again is limited to 700 watts. The nice thing is that it's air cooled. So there are some more powerful laser welders out there, but you'll need to run a TIG cooler with them. Whereas this, you don't need any of that peripherals, which also means that you don't have to worry about this thing freezing if your shop isn't heated. If you have questions, please ask them in the comments below because I will do my very best to answer them. I'm actually in communication with XLaserLabs and I have a couple questions myself. And so I'm hoping to get those answers. One of them being, what do all the different materials mean in the menu? Because I would like to know. But I also don't really know why it would matter whether you're welding stainless steel, mild steel, aluminum. I guess maybe it's changing the frequency, but ultimately it's laser light that's melting materials. So thank you to XLaserLabs for sending this to me. This is pretty interesting technology. And again, this is kind of like the first level that has come to the consumer and it's impressive. It's really cool. So I'm really looking forward to making some things with this and letting you guys know my impressions after I get 10, 15, 20 hours of welding with this machine. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. I hope you have a fantastic day. Cheers. I always wonder what this would do to a camera sensor. Like if I were to point this right at the camera and then pull the trigger. Put it down, Jer. Walk away. Walk away. Walk away.